Hi guys, happy Monday. So, we're going to finish up with, where was I? Somewhere in the Children of Cain. I actually remembered the name of the book. It just gets even more interesting. So yeah, I really highly recommend that you guys go get this book. Or, go to the library, rent it. I don't know if they have it at libraries now. I don't even know if there's libraries anymore. Are there? I would hope. I would think. Anyways, okay, so, alright, now in the conclusion of his letter, Arnold Crowther asked if the newsletter existed to bring together covens on friendly terms or to stir up hatred between different groups by publishing petty insults from non-entities. Yeah. Alright, anyway, so another letter was published in the same issue from a Suffolk witch defending Gardner, who said he followed a tradition going back at least 300 years. Yeah, no. So he claimed what he had inherited was very similar to modern Wicca. So Taliesin was given the right reply to both letters in the same issue. And he savagely criticized both correspondents. I love it. I do. I think it's funny. So this bad-tempered debate marked the end of the WRA as a viable organization dedicated to bringing together witches from different and, more importantly, differing traditions. Yeah, that didn't happen too well. Didn't go by too well. One or two further issues of Pentagram were published in a glossy magazine format, but their contents reflected a wider esoteric subject matter. So, in fact, at the time, John Math told this writer that he could no longer produce a witchcraft magazine because there was not enough to write about the subject. Well, how can you not find enough to write about witchcraft? Holy wow. Yeah, no. You can write about witchcraft for days. For years. Well, now you can, so this is way back when. So, now when Pentagram finally ceased publication, the ill-fated Witchcraft Research Association disappeared with it. So the last issue of Pentagram, however, was interesting for two reasons. Firstly, in his reply to the Suffolk witch, Taliesin suggested Middle Eastern influences had infiltrated the medieval witch cult and were responsible for the fact that the old craft was primarily horn god oriented, and that's what I believe. It's very much god oriented, god, horn god. That's how it is in all of Jim McGarry's books, and that's really what I base my craft on, so Cornish craft. Now, Cochrane had made the same observation in his article in Psychic News a year earlier. Now, in a letter to Bill Gray, Cochrane expressed his belief that until around the 12th century CE, Indonesia's British paganism and Roman Catholicism had mingled in an atmosphere of mutual tolerance. I don't know how that would be possible, because the Catholics are totally against everything but Catholicism. So, but the situation only... Yeah, not much more room for notes. But the whole thing only changed during the First Crusade when Persian emissaries arrived in England. So it was then, under the influence of Middle Eastern ideas, that the worship of the horn god became prominent in the witch cult. So Cochrane believed that in the late Middle Ages, the surviving pagan nature worship, with its fertility rites, largely died out, and were absorbed into traditional witchcraft, only survived in the guise of seasonal folk customs. So, there's not really too much emphasis on fertility and all that anymore. So also featured in the last issue was an advertisement in the personal section that said that a Mr. Joseph of Wichita, Kansas, U.S. of A., would like to correspond with anyone interested in the old religion, Druidism, etc. Now it added that the advertiser also published a duplicated news sheet and would send a copy for 1 shilling. Cochrane responded to this advertisement, evidently in the hope of contacting the old crafter who had emigrated from the British Isles to America. Now, Joe Wilson, 1942 to 2004, and Cochrane began a short correspondence that lasted until the latter's death. Now, in June of the next year, eventually copies of this correspondence were privately circulated by Wilson, and they formed the textual basis for the foundation of the so-called 1734 modern witchcraft tradition in the United States. I did kind of look into the 1734 tradition, and it's kind of different. I mean, I don't know what I think about it yet. I haven't read that much. It seems pretty solid, I suppose. So I'm not sure. Where to go? Okay, so when he started writing to Robert Cochrane, Joe Wilson was a young man, 23, married with 3 children. Jeez, they were busy, and serving in the U.S. Air Force. Well, that's nice. So yeah, well, wherever you are, thank you for your service. Alright, so 3 years earlier, he had been assigned to take McConnell USAF base in Wichita, and had actually auditioned for a part in its theater company's production of the play Bell, Book, and Candle. I love that movie, and I love the play too. A comedy about a family of modern witches living in New York. Love it. Now, the person playing the male lead was known as Sean, and he was half Cherokee and half Irish, Scots-Irish. So, Sean was 8 years older than Wilson, and studied political science at the University of Wichita. So the two men began chatting about the subject of the play, and Wilson foolishly boasted of having knowledge of witchcraft that he did not possess. Yeah, a lot of people do. They do that. They like to do it. I don't know why. So, I don't know everything. I'm far from it. I'll know everything when I'm dead. Hopefully, and then some. I won't. Alright, so Wilson said Sean just grinned indulgently and said that one day they would seriously discuss the craft together, which is pretty interesting. I like how these people formed their relationships and friendships and correspondence, but then they all seem to just kind of fall apart, and everybody just dies in the end. So a couple of weeks later, Sean visited Wilson's apartment, and they talked about Celtic mythology, witchcraft, and magic. Now, the older man recommended some books for Wilson to read, including such standard works as Robert Graves' The White Goddess. I don't understand that. I don't like The White Goddess. I'm sorry, but I don't. Magical Arts in Celtic Britain, and The Golden Bow, by George James Fraser.
Unknown caller.
It's an amazing book. The Golden Bow is. So, Sean and his wife, I don't know how to say her name, Siobhan, also showed Wilson how to perform some simple spells using roots and herbs, and then Sean later took him to his family home on a ranch in Oklahoma, where they camped in the woods and discussed magical matters, some of which were based on Native American spirituality. So, when Joe Wilson questioned his friend about the source of these, he was told it was just some things the old folk do. So I like that. That's pretty interesting. It's kind of reference. So now, on a mundane level, Sean, who claimed to have been a what is that word? Mercenary soldier in South America when he was younger, taught Wilson to shoot a pistol, use a knife, hunt animals for food, and practice basic survival skills. So Sean had become a male role model, as well as a spiritual teacher to this young man. So that's pretty sweet, though. Not a lot of people will do that. Not a lot of people will take you in and teach you and all that good stuff. That's happened. So one of these trips in September of 1963, Sean, his wife, a woman named Barbara, and another man named Phil, took Wilson to a local cave. There he was initiated into the small group they belonged to that practiced folk magic and psychic development. Now, the initiation took in the form of a vision quest. First of all, Wilson was divested of all his clothes. He was allegedly left for 4 days without food and drink, and was told to spend his time praying and listening to what the spirits had to say in answer. Wilson made a rough shelter out of dry leaves and fallen branches to keep warm, and managed to get just enough water to survive from the morning dew that developed on plants. Wow. Wow, that's all I have to say. Now, when Joe Wilson saw a notice in the American Fate magazine for Pentagram, he sent off for a copy. Now, when he showed it to Sean, he was fairly dismissive and said the witchcraft research action was just another call to the covens. However, he did not point out to Wilson that there were similarities between the teachings and beliefs of Robert Cochrane and Taliesin and what he had been teaching him. Yeah, that seems like a little bit of a mess. So Sean still told him to ignore the WRA, but instead Wilson defied his teacher and contacted John Math and placed his advertisement. Now, as a result, he was contacted by Robert Cochrane in his first introductory letter in December of 1965. Cochrane asked Joe Wilson if he knew anything about a sixth tradition of spirit paths that was similar to the British system of ley lines, spirit paths, or landscape alignments. Now, he also said that his family has told him that at one time the members of the old craft clans from England had settled in the American Midwest. Now, I'm Midwest, right here. Where I am, I'm smack dab Midwest. So, he cited the states of Texas, including the five-pointed star in a circle, and the steer skull as an example of craft influence. Possibly. Who knows? Cochrane also noted that the neo-pagan traditions of the American hill folk, Ozark and Appalachian, pointed towards a surviving belief in the religion of the Three Mothers. So, in addition, he also believed that the English members of the Society of Horsemen had settled in the cattle and sheep-rearing areas of Old Welsh. So he concluded his letter by saying that he was against Gardnerianism, and that the key to his religious beliefs could be found in the folk song Green Grow the Rushes, aka the Archer's Song. So, and that he was both an admirer and critic of Robert Cochrane. Of Robert Graves, the author of The White Goddess. Now, Joe Wilson never met Robert Cochrane because of his premature death, but in 1969, Wilson posted overseas to the USAF base at the Upper Heywood in Oxfordshire, England, with the rank of Staff Sergeant, whatever. So this posting allowed him to meet several of the people who he knew and worked with Cochrane, or with his coven members. So these included Ruth Wynne Owen, the founder of the Neo-Celtic Plant Ebron, Welsh for children of the god Aaron, I think, and a member of the Regency. So she was to become one of the influential sources in the foundation of the United States of what become known as the 1734 tradition because of the material that she passed down to Wilson. Alright, now we're going to leave off with that. That's pretty interesting. I mean, the 1734 tradition, I did look into that a little bit, and it's pretty interesting. I do like bits of it. I don't know if it's, Okay, hopefully I can find that while he was stationed. I have to remember that. But yeah, I like it. I like what's going on here. Okay, I think it's time to get a new napkin. Oh, I can always flip it over and reuse it. So yeah. I just can't forget this. While he was stationed. Okay, perfect. So yeah, it's so different. Things are just so different about him, and I don't know. I don't know what there is. I don't know. But when we get to John, wait a minute. What is his name? I can't remember his name, but he is a Cornish witch. So that is a Peller. So that is where it starts to get really good. So it's just the stories, the history, the folk stories of all of this. It's just incredible. So, but all right, guys. I do plan on doing, everybody that is waiting for that Ouija session there, you're going to get it. You're going to get your tarot reading, and I do plan on doing the astrological for, the whole month overview. My cards, I pulled these out yesterday, and a lot of you actually got readings with my very first deck of tarot cards. So these are, oh god, these are old. These are literally when I was growing up. Let's see, I got these when I was probably 6, so they're 27 years old, 30 years old probably, 27 to 30 years old. So they're original Rider-Waite. We had these, we had the very tiny mini ones, and then we had the really large ones, and that's the 3 decks that we had. That's all we had to choose from. And I got these on Christmas Day when I asked Santa for the Ouija, which I did get, but I don't have. Sadly, because it's probably worth a lot of money now. But I did get these, and I found these. The readings from yesterday, holy crap. I mean, I don't know. They don't need cleansed, that's for sure, but I mean, it's that they sat on my necromancy altar for years, and I mean, they're beautiful. My first reading was, well, my first actual tarot reading was from my dad, so, yeah, I mean, they are so old. They literally are. I mean, they're just, I mean, so fragile and bendy. But yeah, these are what we had. These are what we had when I was growing up. We didn't have anything fancy like the Cosmic Tarot and all these other tarot decks that we have now. Aleister Crowley's deck, all of it. So this is what we got. And yeah, it's just crazy. Reminiscing, nostalgic. But I love these. So they did get really good readings. I did. I don't know how, but yeah. So, alright guys. I love you all very much. Everybody please be safe, mask up, keep safe. Yeah, basic, whatever. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So, all my love, all the way from Venus, all the way back down. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So, but yeah, just everybody please stay safe, don't get sick, get your flu shot, and I love you all.